A lot of people that buy into Green Home, they want to make a difference in their local community, right? They want to go out there and do something. And, I could sell mini blinds, and I'm not dissing on the mini blind companies.
Right.
But again, am I really making an impact in my local community, putting window treatments up in a home?
Right.
No, but it's a good business model for the right person.
Right.
The people coming to us are people that really want to help people in their community, and this is a way to do it.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 101 podcast brought to you by FranCoach. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, we are going to bring in a franchise partner, one of our guests, as a guest today. This is a brand and industry probably people don't think much about or even know much about. It's a good chance you haven't been a customer of. And then you're going to learn how much opportunity there is for this. Certainly not going to win an award for sexiest business in the world, but guess what? FranCoach, we like the unsexy ones. So excited to hear about this brand and talk to a good friend of ours who's been in the industry for a long time. So we're going to get some great perspective there as well. Before we get to our guest, let's do first a quick reminder of who we are at FranCoach. FranCoach is the premier franchise consulting firm. Our number one goal is to properly educate you on franchise ownership to determine if you should own one. And if so, we're going to help you find your absolute best fit. Our educational approach ensures we focus on the client's best interest. We are not here to sell you a franchise. In fact, we don't sell anything. Finding the best franchise to own is an incredibly personalized and individualized process that can only work with a team of experts focused on what is truly most important. That's you. FranCoach, our services are always 100% free to use, so reach out to our team. Click the QR code or find us at francoach.net. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, we are back on the Franchising 101 podcast, and joining us today is the Director of Franchise Development for our featured brand, which is Green Home Solutions. It is Mr. Chip Baranowski. Chip, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me on.
We are excited to chat with you today. I've got a bunch of questions about what the heck is this Green Home Solutions thing, but you've been in this industry a long time. You know, this is all about people and getting to know them. Give us a little story on Chip and even kind of how'd you get into this crazy world all those years ago?
Yeah, great. So I've been in the industry for over 25 years, actually a Midwesterner that kind of relocated out here west, coming up on 20 years. But I started my career out of college in the transportation industry and spent 12 years there. And I just didn't want to get pigeonholed into one industry. So I started expanding my view in different career options. And I came across a young franchise company in Milwaukee in the floor and window coverings business. And the guy took a shot on me. He had 5 franchise owners at the time. And I came in, and over the next year and a half, we pretty much doubled the franchise side, and he was growing at an alarming pace. But, I lost, he needed to move on to somebody else, and I lost my job, but I love the industry. I got the itch. And so I've moved over to a lot of different brands over the years. So over 25 years, I've actually represented about 9 different brands in the service industry, everything from automotive brands to commercial cleaning, to 3PL shipping, to shipping and packing, to home care, and now with Green Home Solutions. And I actually own my own consulting business, doing similar to what you did. I did that for 4.5 years back in my earlier days in my 40s before I relocated out here. So I just enjoy taking people through a discovery process. I call it a mutual discovery process, not selling you, but as an education. And, I'm proud to say I still have people I placed in business over 20 years ago that are living their best dream in business ownership and traveling the world and, controlling their life.
Yeah. And I think that's always the word, right? Is that control, whatever that might look like for somebody, but they want more control. They want it to be a little bit better. So, very cool. Tell us a little bit about, Green Home Solutions, and we're going to get into all this stuff from a franchise standpoint, but just from a consumer perspective, what the heck is it and what does Green Home Solutions do?
Yeah. So simply put, we're an indoor air quality company. And actually, we have 9 service lines that really deal with both in the home and businesses indoor air quality issues. So an example would be, just to give you an idea, is recently in the last year, my wife came down with some health issues. And so she was seeing a functional medicine doctor. It's a doctor that basically, in addition to doing normal testing, also wants to look at the environment you live in and work in and make sure to check off that box as not having a contributing factor to your health. So she was going through this process, and the doctor diagnosed her with possibly mold toxicity. And we were scratching her head, and the doctor was actually working with my local franchise owner here in Phoenix. So I had my owner come out and do an indoor air quality test. And we found out we had 2 issues going on in this home that we bought in February of 2020, right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And it was a flip.
Right.
And the first thing is we had a higher than normal CO2 level in our home. And that was due to, one, my gas stove wasn't vented out of the house. And so every time we kicked on the microwave above the stove, it pushed all those CO2 gases out throughout their house. And over long periods of time, that can cause some health issues.
Right.
And number 2, we had a higher than normal mycotoxin level. Mycotoxins are byproducts of mold and actually can spread throughout the house. So at one point, maybe this house that I'm in currently had some mold issues that probably weren't fully remediated properly. And over time they spread. And I go back to my days in the air duct cleaning of business when I was with another brand. I had them come in and do my air ducts right after I moved in here. And I'm kind of thinking at that point, we disturbed the mycotoxins and spread them out throughout their house. So
Wow.
Green Home actually came in June of this year and basically did what we call a indoor reset, where several of our services to kind of reset the indoor air quality to get rid of those issues that we have. So we're just dealing with individuals that might be dealing with a home construction project. They open up a wall and they find a whole bunch of mold back there from an old, maybe a water leak that happened that was maybe fixed but never dried out, to person buying or selling a home that the home inspector's climbing up in the attic and finds all this mold up there because there was a leak in the roof at one point and it was sealed up but never remediated and dried out, or a medical issue like my wife was going through.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. So after you had, and fortunately you knew a guy with Green Home Solutions, right? That was able to get in there. But have you guys noticed a difference in your house since that work was done?
Well, yeah. I mean, the dust level, again, you live here in the desert with me, Tim, right?
Yeah.
So it gets pretty dusty here. And our probiotic actually cuts down on dust and allergens and all those things that, especially in the environment we live in, it cuts down on those things. So we've experienced that. I mean, just noticeably, my wife seems in better spirits, and she's still having some sleep apnea issues, but that wasn't tied to the indoor air quality. But it's actually, she's feeling better. So
that's all that's the most important
that's
thing
the key.
right there.
That's the key. Yep.
And so I'm guessing as you talk to candidates, there's going to be a good chunk of people that are like, I've never actually experienced this, or I've never been a customer of this. Like, is that, or am I the only one that's sitting here thinking like, I've not been a customer of something like this, though now I wonder maybe that I should be, but how often does that come up, and how do you kind of work people through the fact that they've maybe not been a customer of this, but can still see themselves owning the business?
Well, yeah, it happens more frequently than people know. But again, so a lot of people say, well, this is a luxury item. Well, when it comes to your overall health of your loved ones and people, I don't think that's a luxury.
Right.
So
not if you love them.
Yeah, not if you love them. If you hate them, maybe that's another story, right? But again, it's just really about an education of what we do and how we do it. And unless you know it, it's just like, when we were younger, we had never bought a new car before. Does that mean that we wouldn't go out and buy a car? Well, no. Or buy a car lot? No. People have the demand there for doing it. It's just really educating the candidates about what we do and how we do it. But more importantly, they're going to start talking to franchise owners in our system that have been with us, 10 years or 5 years. And all of them can attest that, they deal with people every single day that have issues that we're able to help them with, whether it's just simple mold problem that they found when they did a construction job, or maybe somebody in their home that's having a health issue. Like our CEO, actually, the reason he got in with Green Home, his mother-in-law was having some really bad health issues and wasn't feeling well. And he knew the founder of Green Home, and he had Green Home come in and test his mother-in-law's home, found out she had a very bad type of mold. I forgot what the exact name was. It was in her basement, and she did her laundry down in the basement, and she kept on tracking that stuff up and ended up affecting her overall health. And so Green Home came in, remediated it all, and she could then live in her home and not having, feeling sick all the time.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure you guys just have story after story after story of that. And I'm guessing you've got certainly at least some of your owners now had that same feeling at the beginning when they first started looking at this. Hey, I've not been a customer of this. I don't fully understand it. How can I own it? So I'm sure they are great validators for that kind of conversion and the understanding of that. Or do you just have every owner with tons of experience in this industry?
No, I mean, most of our owners are coming out of all walks of life. A big portion of our owners actually have come out of the military. So whether it's the Marine Corps or Air Force or Army, but they love our business because it's all about systematized systems, SOPs, standard operating procedures. And they just gravitate to being able to go in there and follow that process and educate people and help people live better lives through cleaner air.
Love it. So talk a little bit about the owner. And I know a day in the life can have some variance, but are they like doers crawling in a crawl space someplace and doing the work? Kind of walk through some of the things that they're really doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's going to be different for some owners than others. And then as the owner grows, their roles are going to shift. So in the beginning, a typical owner starting out with themselves and 2 technicians to basically go out and do the work. So the role of the owner is really to manage the team. Basically, the day might start out with, hey, I'm going to meet my team out at our first job in the day, get those guys situated or ladies situated and get them going to work. And then I might go back to the office and do some administration. I might be following up with proposals that I've done, or then I might be going out on an inspection and meeting with a customer that might be having an issue, doing an indoor quality test, coming back to the office, submitting that stuff, waiting for those results to come back. In the afternoon, I might go to a networking event, whether it's a chamber and a B&I group, then follow up with my crew. If they're done with the job, making sure everything's taken care of and the customer's happy. And then at the end of the day, so every day is going to be a little bit different. Some of our owners, for maybe the first couple of months or so, get out there and do the work alongside the technicians because they want to understand how it's done. It's like baking a pie. If I'm a pie baker, I want to learn how the pie and the recipe is done. But again, we don't want the owner to be a man in a van and chuck in a truck. Yeah. We have some of those owners from early on when we first started, but you can't scale a business that way. Yeah, you have to hire that team and manage them and put it out there. And then as they grow and they fill up that first truck and they're looking to add a second truck on, then the role of the owner is going to change a little bit. At that time, I'm evaluating, maybe I bring on a general manager to help me with certain aspects of the business. And I take more of a leadership role and I do the things that I get excited about. So for instance, from an owner standpoint, it might be, I want to do the sales and marketing, the financial management, and I have an operations manager that runs the day to day.
Got it. Love it. And I think just in general in franchising, as an owner, every brand's going to have, hey, this is kind of the bucket of things that you should be doing, but you do always get a little bit of pick and choose. Hey, I'm much better over here. Well, great. Do that. And then hire for whatever else it needs to get done. And I think that the importance of being out with the technicians a little bit at the beginning probably also would be pretty cool just to actually see, hey, you've gone through training, but what are the things that are really popping up on the jobs, just help you understand that better. And, but it stunts the growth if you are constantly out there on the job because then you're not doing all of those other things. Right. So,
yeah. And also if I'm out on the job with my crew, I'm building a little street cred with my employees, right?
Yes. That
it's not beneath the owner of the company to get his hands a little dirty or her hands a little dirty and help out in a pinch. Yeah. And again, this business is not just about taking care of the customers, but it's building a culture and a team that you can depend on to go out there and do the work.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the customers then. So we've talked about it in some consumer standpoints where it's the home. Is this all homeowners? Is this business to business as well? And kind of maybe how do you find those people? We're not out there knocking on doors going like, hey, Chip, does your air quality suck? Can we come in and help? Right. Certainly a little bit more nuanced than that. So talk about that process a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a multi-pronged approach. So again, we have our consumer customers out there that we get either through the online advertising that we help our owners build over time, through lead aggregators like Angie's List and Thumbtack and Home Advisors, to their community outreach and getting out there and joining those chambers. But we also have a commercial aspect of this business as well. I mean, there are businesses out there that think about any small business with a lot of foot traffic, your local gyms, your daycares, your churches, your schools. All have this need, but just need to get out there and talk to people and ask questions and see what they're doing when this situation occurs. Right now, if you look at our overall system, we're about 80-20 consumer to business, but the biggest opportunity for us as a company is actually on the business to business side. But a lot of new business owners, when they're starting out, and I've worked with other brands as well, is going to a consumer customer versus a commercial is different. In our world, coming into my 1,800 square foot home is a little easier than going into an 18,000 square foot office building or manufacturing plant where I'm helping them with an issue and they get a little intimidated. Yeah. But as a team, we're there to rally around those individuals. In fact, one of our owners last year got a huge project up in Connecticut at a college, and it was a $130,000 job. And he was very intimidated by it, but the team rallied around him. We helped them price it. Helped them staff it. In fact, one of our operations team members who was in the area actually went out and helped on the job with them as well, to help him complete the job ahead of schedule. And we actually got some additional business out of it. But it was getting him over that first major hurdle of that big account that was worth $130,000 in revenue.
Yes. And I think I'd been more concerned if he wasn't a little nervous about that, right? Doing that the first time. How much of this is like insurance driven versus like direct pay?
Very little. It's all direct pay by the customers because all the stuff we're going in is after the fact. I can't go to my insurance company and say, oh, hey, by the way, I bought this house 5 years ago and we had some issues here and now I want you to, do it. They're going to say, no. Well, how can you prove that this was here during or after? So it's direct pay from customers to us.
Which nothing wrong with insurance driven things, but with the good thing is you come into my house, you're done. I pay you right away. That's not 60, 90 days.
I'm not having to wait 60 or 90 days. I'm not arguing with the insurance company because they only want to pay for this and I want to pay, and actually it's worth this. And, I've worked for companies in the restoration side. And again, yes, it's guaranteed money from the insurance company, but they dictate the pricing that's out there.
Yeah. And the pricing and the timeline
needs to be done. Yep.
You got it. So, and again, doesn't mean it's good, bad, right, or wrong, but it is different. And then with this, I'm guessing there's a good lifestyle component of this as well, right? Like people aren't calling me as an owner, they're not calling me at 2 a.m. and going, hey, can you get out here and check my air quality? I mean, we kind of have is it fair to say kind of business hours operation with this? Yeah.
We built this model about really being our own lifestyle. So it's Monday through Friday, no nights, no weekends.
Yeah.
So you're doing the service between 8 and 5. Again, that doesn't mean the owner might not be working a little bit in the morning before they start the day jobs. They might be doing work at night. But again, the customers you're dealing with a Monday through Friday. Now, again, if one of our owners wants to pull a Saturday and do something for a customer, it's fine. But we're not like the UPS store where I have to be open 7 days a week and these given hours, whether I'm here in Phoenix or Scottsdale or Tucson, I have to have these general hours of operation.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, if it's, hey, I got so much business, I gotta send a crew out on Saturday, like, okay, that's a pretty good problem to have, right? From that standpoint. So, and then talk about the staff a little bit, because you mentioned usually trying to start with 2 technicians right off the bat. And you've been in franchising a long time. No matter what franchise people are looking at, one of the things that always is going to freak them out and cause some concern is labor, right? Like, oh, there's a labor this, there's a labor that, whatever. Talk about some of the, I guess, kind of maybe challenges or concerns people have with hiring technicians to do kind of a dirty job. And then the flip is how you guys as a franchisor are kind of helping them find, train, and all of that stuff as well.
Well, what's really nice about our business is we don't need any special skills to do what we do. So if you own an HVAC company, you have hired HVAC technicians that went to trade school and learned about how to do all this and be certified. We can take any blue collar worker out at any job and teach them the simple skills that we're doing. And a lot of it's just cleaning, right? Yeah. So it's HEPA vacuuming, it's air duct cleaning, it's wiping down surfaces, it's setting up machinery and stuff like that. So it's not difficult to find it. Now, again, it's just finding the right people, right? In today's world, it's finding dependable individuals, hardworking, that, can treat the customer right, because again, they're going to be in the home. They will have some interaction with the customer and just be pleasant and cheery. Like the guy that came over today from Green Home, because we're retesting our home after we had this done in June.
Oh, okay.
So my wife was really going, hey, I want to know that the money we spent here actually did its job.
Right.
So the technician came today, very polite individual, nice logoed shirt, came in, we set up the equipment and he left, and they're going to pick it up tomorrow. So how we help them is recruiting. I mean, we have the whole process laid out from where to place the ads, what to say in the ads. Once you start getting applications in the door, what to say. We have 3 regional area representatives that partner up with all our franchise owners, and in the very beginning might even sit down an interview and give some input on, nice. What are the pros and cons. It's up to the owner to make the final decision on right. who it is, but then it's training those individuals, right? And in the beginning, we're going to help train those technicians until we train the owner well enough that one of their staff members later on will train them on their own. It's kind of train the trainer model.
What if your 9-to-5 job didn't last forever? What if there was a better way to create professional success, your way, without fear of layoffs or downsizing? What if I told you that it's all possible through franchise ownership? Franchise ownership gives you a proven playbook to execute, so you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. But with thousands of franchises out there, how do you know which is the best one for you? That's where FranCoach comes in. FranCoach will help build out your ideal business model based on your talents, skills, and core values. Then use our proprietary knowledge of the franchises to bring curated options based on what you want, and then guide you through the vetting process until we find your best match. Individualized, personalized, and 100% free to you. Ready to control your future? Scan the QR code or visit francoach.net and let FranCoach help create your better tomorrow.
I always like hearing that, and it's good for people to hear. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to hire these technicians and they're going out and doing this. Like, I don't know that I would go do that every day. Well, number one, that's why you're the owner, so you don't have to. But it's even just a job description, right? And questions to ask. And I love the fact that you've got almost like a second set of kind of eyes that owners can use at the beginning. Geez, I've got these 3 people. I got to hire one of them. How do I know which one is the best? Yeah. And you won't need that years down the road, but that is so comforting and reassuring for people at the beginning that you can do that, right? And then I always say, anytime there's a bunch of if an owner has turnover in their business, stop pointing your finger at the staff and turn it right back around. Are you taking good care of your people? Do you appreciate the work they're doing? All of that is super key. So love all of that support. So truck couple technicians. What else do we need to kind of get started? You mentioned even an office. What does that kind of look like? How do we get started with that?
So again, this is a home-based business. So as long as you have a place to park your vehicle in your driveway and maybe a small corner of your garage or shed that you can store some product, you don't need an office outside the home. Now, later on, as you grow your business, we have a lot of owners that after they've grown to a certain level, they go into some commercial park somewhere and they rent maybe a front end with maybe a garage alongside where they can pull their vehicles in. If you're up in the Midwest in the winter, keep the van out of there so you don't have to shovel it off all the time. Here in the desert, it might be just to keep it cool. Right. So you get it as part of your investment into the franchise. Initially, you have a starter equipment package, as well as some products to get you off the ground. And then you're going to either lease or buy a used vehicle. I work for some bigger brands that want you to invest in $80,000 to $100,000 vehicle right off the bat. I don't want you to do that. I want to keep that capital available so you can go and lease a Sprinter van or a Ford Transit at a lower monthly rate over a couple of years until you cash flow, and maybe you might go out and buy one later on, or you find a used vehicle. You can go on Facebook Marketplace. I see them all the time. You can get a 3, 4, 5-year-old vehicle for, over half of the price of what a new one would cost. Right. So we want to keep the overheads low so they can drive that revenue to build the business. And then later on, when you're huge and profitable, then you can look at other things and regarding to upgrade the vehicle maybe later on or add additional ones.
Right. New or used, we're still making sure it's going to look good. It's wrapped.
Yeah.
Right? You mentioned even your technicians coming to the house. It's one of the things that just separates franchises apart from, Billy Bob out in his pickup truck. No offense to Billy Bob in his pickup truck, but he ain't rolling in there in a nice wrapped vehicle, uniform, professional, all of those things. That makes a huge difference from that overall customer experience, right?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Because again, it's all about first impressions, right? If you pull up with the ratty vehicle and the guy in holy blue jeans and might have an odor to him, is that the type of service you're going to get as well?
Right, right. We're talking about air quality, and you're walking in making it worse right off the bat.
There you go. There you go.
Got it. What else is maybe something from a franchise standpoint that you guys can say, hey, look, every franchise has support, right? But what's something or that you guys do that's unique or you guys are really proud of in the way in which you're supporting your owners?
So again, we have a 2-tiered support structure. So we have our corporate staff that onboards and supports our owners, but we also have 3 area representatives. These area representatives are successful franchise owners that have been running their businesses for quite a while and have taken on an additional role to help onboard and support our franchise owners. So as part of their onboarding process, which we typically can have somebody onboarded within about 90 days after they sign their franchise agreement. They have a week of online education and certifications. Then they're going to go to Connecticut for a week and learn about the science behind what we do, how our products work, how these all green products are getting rid of and correcting these issues in the home. They also get an opportunity to work with some of the testing equipment. And then their last 2 weeks are basically in the field alongside of one of the owners. And they're going to get a week of operational training and getting out on jobs and crawling in crawl spaces and doing inspections, and then another week on just operational marketing side of things and how to go out and attack the market and have a conversation with a functional medicine doctor or a property manager or a real estate agent. And then when they get back in and open up their operation, they have our corporate staff following up with them. And in the beginning, we're calling them and we're having weekly and then monthly meetings with them, reviewing where they're at. And if we see where maybe they're having some difficulties, maybe we need to retrain or refocus them on things, right?
Right.
Because as a business owner, sometimes you get kind of overwhelmed and you get off track and you need somebody to pull back in. You also have the area representative doing the same thing. And sometimes an existing owner just wants to talk to another owner.
Right. Yes.
Charles, how the heck did you do with that? How did, you went in and built those relationships with the functional medicine doctors. How did that work?
How'd you do that? Right. Exactly. It's one of the things I think in franchising as an industry, we don't talk nearly enough about is the power of the other owners in the network, right? There's, they're the ones that are living it, breathing it, doing it every single day. And so that's awesome. You guys have such an open culture for your owners to be able to do that, be willing to do it and have owners being willing to reach out to one another. And we just finished up our annual conference the beginning of last week, where we had over half of the franchise owners there. It's due to travel issues and the government shutdown. There was some issues there, but again, we had new owners there that we had just sold this year that were just opening up, and then senior owners that have been in business for 10 years, but they were all willing to share best practices and have conversations with them and say, here's my phone number, call me when you're done. After you get back, if you have any questions. And that's what I love about franchising, and I think a lot of organizations or a lot of franchisees and other brands, they don't utilize the other franchise owners in their system to, gain best practices and, because they all went through struggles before. But when I was in my consulting business, I went after the people that were highly successful. I wanted to find out what made them successful and emulate what they did. Even though sometimes it was a little outside of my comfort zone,
but I had to step outside my comfort zone to really test myself and succeed.
Right. And you've talked to 3 top performers. You may get 3 different kind of versions of how they got there. And the first 2 may go, I can see myself in this path. And having all those owners at your disposal is fantastic. Are there any traits in particular or backgrounds? You mentioned military a little bit, but that you have found in your owners, or why somebody's going to gravitate towards Green Home Solutions versus, any one of the other 4,000 other brands out there? Any kind of little trait or background that it really stands out for you guys?
Well, a lot of people that buy into Green Home, they want to make a difference in their local community, right? They want to go out there and do something. And, I could sell mini blinds, and I'm not dissing on the mini blind companies. Right. But again, am I really making an impact in my local community, putting window treatments up in a home?
Right.
No, but it's a good business model for the right person.
Right.
The people coming to us are people that really want to help people in their community, and this is a way to do it. We're helping them when they're having tough times at home, maybe with a young child that might have respiratory issues, or an older adult that's dealing with things. People that have some leadership skills. We are a solution-based sale. So I'm coming in, I'm evaluating your situation. If there's an issue, we put protocols together and I present it to you. And in most of the cases, people, especially if it's mold, they're going, I don't want to live with this. I know it can affect me. It can be bad for my health. And so it's not a hard sell. And I'm not competing with, 100 other companies coming in there selling the same widget and competing against them.
Yeah. Love it.
So go ahead.
Oh, no. I appreciate that. And again, there's nothing, whether you look at different brands, I think it's always key. And for our team in particular, like, we show a wide range of things and like, hey, I want to make a difference. Okay, this is definitely doing that. I don't know if that's important. I just want a good product or a good service. Well, then maybe it's something else, because your owners are really out there. And again, I'm sure there are just hours upon hours of stories of how people went into, just like you guys as customers, into your house, and it made a difference in the health and the life of people. And not that everybody doesn't care about that, but there's certain people that are going to be really proud of the fact that they have a business that can do that. Right.
Yeah. I want to go out into my local community and say that I've made impacts in people's lives.
Yeah.
And be part of that community. And, Tim, you've met with candidates before, the emulators, right? Again, if you show an emulator, like a trash business, they're not going to want to go to a cocktail party and say, hey, Tim, what do you do? Well, I own a junk business and I go around and collect junk. And they're going, oh, okay. Well, no, they're not going to do that. So it's really finding the business that's right for them. And that's why we take them through a mutual discovery process. Yeah. So every candidate that goes through, it's an introductory call and getting to know them getting to know us, then helping them understand the franchise agreement. We get them into validation right away, starting to talk to owners. Yeah. Instead of a lot of franchisors, and I've worked for them in the past, where you need to have 3 or 4 calls before they'll even let you talk to an owner. We're letting them talk to owners right after our second call, after they get the franchise disclosure document, and really getting them to discover and talk to as many owners as possible to really understand what the brand is and if it's a fit or not. And even if they don't move forward, we want them to walk away with a great experience with Green Home. That, hey, at least I did my discovery. I found out it wasn't right for me, but they were happy and saying, hey, Chip did good job in at least educating me and finding out that it wasn't the right business for me.
Yeah. And that you're that open and transparent with, hey, talk to owners, talk to as many as you want, also means you're not hiding anything with like, no, here, talk to these 3 owners. Don't talk to the other 97 over there. And you and I both know some brands out there that are unfortunately like that. So I'd love that openness. And then the one thing I want to come back to, which is really the first word in the name of the business, is green. Yeah, but Chip, come on. Are they really green products? Are they really eco-friendly? Talk about kind of all of the factors that go into what you guys use and how you do the work.
Yeah, so all our products are plant-based enzymes, and our chief science officer who came on, he's one of the oldest standing people in Green Home Solutions, actually developed these products alongside a person he ended up meeting because he had a mold problem in his home. in his basement, and he found this guy that had these products, and he actually used them in the home, and it took care of him. And these guys became friends, and they started to kind of work on these products, and they were selling it out in the industry, and then connected with Green Home Solutions. And he became part of the group. So our chief science officer has a microbiology degree. Our products, 2 of them have been registered with the EPA. So, and again, I'm not the science guy by all means, but I mean, it's rigorous to get things approved by the EPA as a eco-friendly product and get their sign off. You have to go through a lot of documentation and proof and stuff like that. So, again, a lot of these companies that are out there that are doing, whether it's mold remediation or whatever, are using chemicals that they don't even know what they're utilizing. And in a lot of cases, it's just bleach, and bleach does not get rid of mold. It gets rid of the surface mold, but mold spores go into the surfaces, and they'll sit in there, and they will come back, or they'll spread amongst your home and do it further. So we have a whole process that we go through. And it's all geared around those proprietary products that you can't buy on Amazon. You can't go to Home Depot and buy. These are all exclusive to Green Home Solutions.
Yeah, I love it. And I just love the fact you have a chief science officer. That is very definitely a position I will never, ever apply for. So
me neither.
Sure, Tim, can we see your transcripts from undergrad on science? No, you may not. So
no, you don't want to see my my grade in freshman biology in college.
No, you do not. So last thing I want to throw at you, Chip, and thank you so much for all of this, but what's maybe one thing we haven't talked about for Green Home Solutions that you want to make sure that everybody gets to learn today?
Well, again, the big thing is we don't have a lot of competitors doing everything that we're doing. Most of our competitors are the one-off companies. So if you're thinking about mold, it's just the mold guys that are out there. In fact, there's a franchise called Mold Guys or Mold Medics or whatever it's called. And all they do is mold or air duct cleaning. And it's an, oh, by the way. So we basically wrap 9 service lines in to our business to help people with indoor air quality, both in their homes and in their business. And the really big differentiator is using those green, eco-friendly products that are safe for the environment. Not that you can, like when they did my home, I had to leave my home for 2 days. Yeah. They're green, but they're going to be safe for when you come back into the home, and you're not gonna have any adverse effects, versus some of the chemicals that might be used out there today. Yeah,
nice. I love it. Well, cool, Chip. Thank you so much for coming on to share with us. Green Home Solutions, and it's literally greenhomesolutions.com is where you're going to find all of their information. Whether you may need to be a customer, you may want to be a franchise owner, either way. But Chip, always a pleasure talking to you, and I appreciate you coming on and joining us today.
Not a problem. I appreciate it. And I would say if you're looking for a franchise today, and there's a lot out there, using somebody like Tim and his group to help you dissect and find out what's right for you, get some help. It's like a real estate, like when you look for a home, you can go out there and do it on your own, but it might take you a lot longer. But if you have somebody that's a professional that can kind of navigate and really kind of point you in the right direction, that they have screened the franchisors out, their service is awesome, and it's free. So what more can you say?
Yeah, and the check's in the mail, Chip. So thank you for that as well. So, awesome, my friend. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, appreciate it, Tim.
Hey, thanks again for tuning into the Franchising 101 podcast, brought to you by FranCoach. I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the amazing possibilities that can be achieved through franchise ownership. In between podcast episodes, if you still want to learn more about franchising and the ways in which FranCoach can help, there are a few places for you to check out. First, tune in to the Franchising 360 show. It is the only nationally syndicated television show about franchising, hosted by me and Danielle Wright. Our TV show airs every Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Biz TV. Next, check out the FranCoach YouTube channel, which is FranCoach for You. You can find tons of franchise-specific content there. Plus, you can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out our book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. You'll never guess what it's about. And finally, when you're ready to take that first personalized step and explore the franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at FranCoach. You can click the QR code or find us at francoach.net. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow.